Hey friends, this is Tasha. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Tuesday. So today I will be talking about internal blocks and external barriers that's keeping us, that's hindering us from knowing who we are, from knowing what our gifts are, that are keeping us from our road of self discovery. So, before we start, I want to remind you guys to subscribe to my channel, Tasha Ford, like the video, share the video. So, like I said, getting back to those blocks, some of the things that can get in our way internally of us getting to know who we are and knowing our gifts is not forgiving ourselves. It's not forgiving ourselves from things that happened in the past, things that we have not overcome. And a lot of times this comes from our childhood, things that we've experienced in our childhood that we may think is our fault, and we have not forgiven ourselves for that. Or it could be things that happened along the way. It could be in our adolescent years, our young adult years, and it could be something that happened most recently, like last night or earlier today. So we have to learn to forgive ourselves for that. And that can block us from recognizing what our strengths are, what our gifts are, because we're so filled with guilt. We're so filled with not being able to get past that block, just not being able to really know who we are because we're at a standstill of feeling so guilty for what we have done to where we can't even look past that to see, okay, I did that wrong thing, but I'm so much better than that. I'm just so much greater than that. And so that's some things that we need to own our stories. So what are some stories that you're holding on to from your childhood where you cannot forgive yourself and you have not forgiven yourself, or you have not forgiven the people that hurt you? And those are some of the things, internal blocks that keep us from moving forward in life. And it's so hard for us to move forward because we become numb, and we become numb to things that we are feeling. It's like we block those feelings of being happy, those feelings of just feeling life, enjoying life, being in the present moment with our loved ones, with our children, with our parents, with our relatives, and our close friends. It's hard for us to be in the present moment with them because we are numb, and sometimes we become afraid to love people and allow people to love us because of the numbness that we have created. And so that's something that we need to do. We need to break down those internal blocks that are keeping us numb. So that's one thing that we want to do, or two things that we want to do. We want to forgive ourselves for what happened in our past, our most recent past. We want to forgive ourselves for that. We want to realize that we are not perfect. And we want to know that the people in our lives that hurt us, they are not perfect either. And the important thing that we should know about that is if somebody hurt you and you are holding on to that and you're bitter and resentful about it, that person may not know the depth of the pain that they've caused you. So you need to find it in your heart, or you need to pray to your God and just ask to be released from that. Just ask to be released from that heavy spirit that's on your shoulders, that's that dark cloud that's just so heavy on you. And so the next thing is owning your past. What is the story? What is the story that you created for yourself? What is the story that another family member created for you as a child? What did they tell you as a child that you held on to? And one of the things that I had to overcome from my childhood is having a deep voice. And I could remember, like, during my childhood, where my aunt used to say that I sound like a man, and it made me afraid to actually want to speak in public. And I remember being a cheerleader in middle school, and I became the captain. And when I had to start that cheer off, and as soon as I started the cheer, the coach looked at me, and I knew exactly why she looked at me, because I had already been told that my voice was deep. And and sometimes that I sounded like a man. And imagine how hurtful that was to me growing up, that I suppressed my voice because I was always told that my voice was deep and it was heavy. So you can imagine how that impacted my self-esteem growing up. But the thing about it now is, look how God is using my voice now. He's using this same voice that that caused me hurt and pain, and now he's using this voice to share with you guys, to lift you up and build you up. So you have to own those stories, and you have to own them and say, you know what? I went through this as a child. This affected me. This hurt me. This affected my self-esteem, my self-worth. I became subconscious about it. And you can grow out of that, because when we own our story and we learn to say, you know what? I don't have to accept this. I don't have to live like this. I don't have to live in this shell and live in this bubble. This is not my reality. This is not who I am. It's a reason I have this deep voice, or it's a reason I look this way, or it's a reason I smile like this. It's a reason I talk like this. It's a reason, I walk like this, whatever the reason may be. You don't know what purpose God has for your story. Whatever you went through in your childhood, your adolescent years, you don't know what that story was. And our family members don't know a lot of times either what our gifts are. So the things that are being used to tear you down, it may be the very thing that God turned around and used to build you up and to build others up. So own your story. Own your story. When you own your story, you gain control of it. And when you gain control of it, you're able to turn that thing around, turn it around and take control of it and use it the way that you want to use it. So remember that, and don't be embarrassed of your story. Your story is your story, and you don't let anybody else dictate your story or tell your story for you. That's something that you need to do for yourself. Own your story, tell your story, empower other people about your story. So the things I talked about was forgiveness so far, owning your story, whatever that story may be of yours, forgiving yourself, forgiving others about what happened in your past, in your childhood, and knowing that that's not who you are, that's not your reality. You just have so much more greatness in you that the world is waiting for. We are waiting to experience your gifts. So you want to pull off those old layers of things that people told you who you were. Pull those layers off so that you can start to discover who you are and start walking in your gifts. Another thing is when we lose hope. So that's another internal barrier for us. When we lose hope, when we feel like there is no hope for us, when we feel like, why are we here? What is our purpose? We have no purpose. And we start losing that hope just clouds your view. It clouds it because it keeps you from discovering the great gifts that you have. And it's hard for some people to understand the importance of hope. When you are filled with hope, the sky is the limit. So don't let those people that tear down your hope, that tear down your dreams, get in your ear. Do not do it, because that can be very, very detrimental to your success, and you want to get those people from around you. So we're going to talk about some external things that keep us from discovering who we are. That is people. People. When we are connected to the wrong people, when we are connected to people that are not feeding our gifts, it's hard for us to really operate in our gifts, because we don't want to outshine our closest friend, our dear friend. We don't want to outshine them. So we kind of play ourselves down. We play our gifts down. We dumb ourselves down, because a lot of times we are around people that can see our gifts. They know our potential. But when we don't know it, when we don't know what our potential is, it's so dangerous when we're around people that do, because they want to make sure that you don't know what your gift is. They want to make sure that they keep you at a level that's beneath them. As long as they can keep you at a level that's beneath them, they have a little influence over you. They have a little control over you, and they like it. That's that manipulating stuff that people do, that know that if you have the right tools in your life, the right tools just at your disposal, that you will be unstoppable. So the thing that they want to do is to keep you away from those tools. And they can be very cunning and very sneaky with it, that you don't know that they're trying to keep you away from discovering yourself. You don't know why they want to keep you away from hanging with this positive person, or why you always on the phone with this person, or why you always calling this person, or why you always over to this person's house. Because they know that that person may be feeding something positive in you, that that person may be allowing you to see this other person for who they are, and allowing you to take the scales off of your eyes, and for you to become more conscious of the people in your circle. Because when you are not conscious of yourself and conscious of your gifts, it's easy for people to control you. It's easy for people to manipulate you. And it's sad that people will do that. People that are in my circle, my friends that are in my circle, I always try to lift up. I always try to build up. It's always, I'm pointing out their strengths. I'm pointing out their gifts. I'm encouraging them to do this and do that, and you can do it. Let's do it together. I'll help you with this. I'm not the type of person where if I'm not doing something that I want to do, and you're doing something that you're doing, you're living in your purpose and you're living in your gift, and now I'm jealous of that? No. Leave those people alone. And I have learned to not hang around people that way, or that are like that, because those are goal suckers. Those are people that want to just suck your goal out of you. Whatever idea you have, they don't like it. Whatever idea you have, it's not realistic. Those are some people that are not happy with who they are, because they have not lived up to their own potential. So one thing that I want to talk about, when I'm talking about people, so I want to talk about Dr. O.C. Phil Anderson. He was my professor at Florida A&M, FAMU, the best HBCU. Okay, so Dr. O.C. Phil Anderson, he is a genius. He is someone that I feel like that was a divine connection, that God allowed me to cross his path, because he poured so much into me. He allowed me to get to know who I am. And when I tell you, this guy is such a genius. So I took his class, college algebra. He did not teach with a book. He taught off his own knowledge. It was different for me, and it was difficult for me to understand his concepts, because I needed a book to look at. I needed something to reference back to. And I ended up getting four college algebra books to try to understand what he was teaching. And one of my friends that took college algebra previously, she tried helping me. And it was like, you know what? I can't do this. This is just too tough. I cannot do it. So I went to him and I was like, I'm dropping this class. I just can't do it. I'm dropping this class. It was causing too much stress. So I took him my form, and he just, he just kind of pushed the form out of my hand, and he was like, I'm not signing that. And it shocked me. I was surprised. I was like, what do you mean? I'm not getting it. I'm dropping this course. He was like, I don't sign those things, because you can do it. You can do it. And I was like, no, I just want to drop this class. It's causing me too much stress. So he walked outside, and I followed him like, is he going to really sign this paper? Because today was that last day to drop this course. He said, Miss Ford, you a quitter. You a quitter. And I could not believe he said that. And tears just started forming in my eyes. And I was like, I am not a quitter. I am not a quitter. And it hurt me so bad because he did not know that I had children that I was raising. I wasn't an average college student, as I told you in my previous video. I had children. I was an adult learner. Like, I am an untraditional student. I am not 18 or 19 years old. I had a family. I had a real life. And when he called me a quitter, it struck something like, oh my gosh, I had never been called a quitter before. And I walked away in tears, like it really did something to me. And he called me back. He was like, Miss Ford, I didn't mean you was a quitter. He said, I'm sorry. He said, I'm saying that to motivate you. And I tried to hold back my tears because this man didn't know my story. And I tried to hold back my tears because I was not a quitter. And so he came back. He said, Miss Ford, if you promise that you will not drop this class, I promise to dedicate some time to teach you this stuff. And he did. He held up his word. And I stayed after school learning this stuff, knowing this stuff. And it really helped me. He blessed me. And the reason I mention him today, because he has such an impact on my life. And it's something that he taught me. This is the Book of 4 Agreements. And this was something that he told me. He was such a wise guy. Please look him up, Dr. Phil Anderson. I'm sure he's definitely not at FAMU anymore because he was retired when I took him. He just came back to teach us. So the first one, it says to be impeccable with your words. And I want you guys to search up the 4 Agreements, the Book of 4 Agreements, because he told me this. When did I graduate, FAMU? 2008. He told me this in 2008. Miss Ford, be impeccable with your words. And when you look it up, you'll see that it's telling you what each one is. So the next one, the second one is, don't take anything personal. When you encounter other people, don't take it personal. If somebody says something to you, don't take it personal. Just keep it moving. The third thing is, don't make assumptions. Just ask. Don't make assumptions. The next one, always do your best. And when he told me this, it blessed my life. This was the beginning of a new journey for me. And when I started listening to the powerful things, the powerful quotes and motivations that he would tell me, it really blessed me because I had never been told these things before. And I know it was such a divine connection because I started taking my 2 oldest kids to get some of that wisdom from him. And it was just a blessing in my life. And I'm telling you that so that you can know how people influence your life. And as he told me back then, Miss Ford, that's what he liked to call me, Miss Ford, the 2 things that influence your life the most is the people that you hang around and the books that you read. The people that you hang around and the books that you read. So imagine how powerful people are. Imagine what people can feed into you and imagine what they can take from you. Imagine what negative spirits do to you and imagine what positive spirits impart into you. The books that you read. What books are you reading? Are you reading books? And I made it a habit to start reading books. Start reading books that were able to allow me to see things from a different perspective, from a perspective that I didn't even know existed, because I was stuck in my narrow world. I was stuck in my small world because I had not been exposed to people like Dr. Phil Anderson. So anybody that you call this name out to, they can tell you what a powerful person that he is. He always has a powerful quote for you. He has been a keynote speaker at many events. So look him up. I just love him to pieces. I love Dr. Phil Anderson. So check it out. The 4 Agreements. Read those 4 agreements. Read what they say, what they're telling you to do, because it will bless you. It will empower you. And if you want to if you're a person that's on a journey that you want to be empowered, then just read a lot of empowering books. Watch seminars or little videos by Dr. Miles Monroe, Les Brown, who is my favorite motivational speaker, my favorite. I just was on a path to just wanting to be better, wanting to know more. So those are some great people to start with. Is some more that I like, but those are my favorite. And remember to get the 4 agreements. It's something that you can search and download online. And you can just read it, and if you like it, take it in, share it with other people, share it with your friends, share it with your family members, because that's what I do. Whenever I have something that's empowering, I make sure that I share it with my family members so I can empower them too. I like to empower my family and friends, and I like it when my family and friends empower me, because I am still in the process as well. So I like to be empowered as well. So I like to be aware of my inner blocks, my internal blocks, and my external barriers, and knowing what's in my life right now that's not working. What's in my life right now that I can't see because I have this block. I can't see who's trying to use me in my life. I may not be always able to see what's not good for me. So it's good to have people in your life that can be honest with you. People that are trying to spare your feelings, and they don't want to hurt your feelings. They don't want to tell you the truth. I just don't like to be around people like that, to be honest, because I like telling people the truth. My friends, I like telling them the truth. I'm going to give it to you real. I'm going to give it to you 100. You may not like it. I'm sorry, but that's just how I am, because I care about your growth. I care about your future. I care about the things that are going on in your life. And if I think it's something that is getting in the way of you growing, then I'm going to bring it to your attention, out of love, because I would like for you to do that for me as well, because it's been times in my life that my life was stagnant, and I've had friends in my life to tell me, hey, you know what, you always into different stuff, but I notice now, like, you haven't been into many things lately. And sometimes you need to hear that. I needed to hear that, because if you're wrapped up in your distractions, internal distractions or external distractions, you may not realize that you're stagnant. You may not realize that your life isn't progressing. It's like you're doing a whole lot of nothing because you're not going anywhere. Your life is just still the same. So when you have people in your life that are willing to be honest with you, that are willing to empower you, and it's coming from a good place, value those people because they mean well and they want to see you do well. Also value the people that clap for you when you are doing well. You have the ones that are not clapping for you when you're doing well. That's an external block, barrier. So you already know what to do. You just need to be more cognizant and be more conscious of what spirit and what are they bringing to you, what are they bringing to the table, how are they building you up, how are they lifting you up. And also you need to check yourself too. Are you lifting them up? Because you can't be expecting for people to lift you up and clap for you when you're not clapping for them as well, and you're not lifting them up. So you always want to reciprocate those friendships. You always want to clap for your friends and have them clap for you and celebrate your friends. That's just how it's supposed to be. So like I said, pay attention to those inner blocks. Pay attention to those external barriers. Get this, download this PDF of the 4 agreements that will really bless you if you are on a path to discovering what your gifts are, and you want to know some of the things that are holding you back. And a lot of things that I know hold people back is when they don't own their stories from their childhood. So just, you may have to go in that safe space, go in that closet and cry it out, because when you cry, you are releasing some of the things that have been holding you back. And it's okay to cry. It is okay to cry. Man, it is okay to cry. It is okay to get that cleansed. Sometimes we need a good cry just to get it out. Cry all that fear out. Cry all that embarrassment out. Cry all that pride out. And when you come back, when you come back from that cry, you want to be a better person. You want to have a better perspective on things. But I'm gonna stop here because this video is getting kind of long and I don't want to do that. So subscribe to my channel, like the video, share the video. And this video was 24 minutes. Sorry guys, but check out the next video. So I don't know if this is going to be more roadblocks, so we're going to keep it moving. And keep in mind that my videos are basically to teach right now. They're laying the foundation, so you may not get that 1-minute inspiration video, that 2-minute inspiration video, because right now we're uncovering a lot of things that have been buried, that have been pushed under, that have been swept under, put a band-aid over. So those are the things that we're uncovering so that you can own it, and then you can live the life that you want to live, or live your best life. So, all right, subscribe, Tasha Ford. Have a good night.